Welcome to Hindu Sanskruti with Vaishali Shah. I'm your host, Harleen Jabal. Namaskar, Vaishali.
Namaskar, Harleen.
Today's topic is Vedic science. What is Vedic science?
Of course, everyone knows what is science. When we are trying to know the world in a different way, every particle of the earth, we are trying to, when we are trying to know the world through different logic, experiments, and with research, that is how the science came into existence. Vedic science is a term which is coined by the new scholars in India who want to bring the knowledge of science from the Vedic scriptures. You will be surprised to know that modern science is quite at preliminary and basic stage when it comes to understanding the world, different particles of the earth, or even the life which we have in us, something like Atma or soul, which they have not understood or identified. When we read the scriptures, we find out a lot about various forms of science which always existed. We have the concept of Viman, which is plane, aeroplane.
Yes.
We had the concept of converting a material into gold or something which looks like gold, and the same technique is used in imitation jewelry even today. Then we knew the science of medicine through plants, and which is we called as Ayurveda in today's time. So all those people who are practicing various aspects of science in today's time, they are called Vedic science.
Then what is astronomy, astrology, and then numerology?
Under the science from the scriptures, there was no topic which was not touched.
Okay.
We knew what is weaponry. We had weapons like Brahmastra, where the effect was almost similar to nuclear war. We knew the distance between Earth to other stars and other planets, even thousands of years back. So our knowledge about astronomy was fantastic. We knew a number of planets, stars, nakshatra, which we call it as. We knew the position, how they were placed when they are, where they are looking at. So those things we knew it even without binocular or
The telescope.
the telescope. So you can imagine how much advanced we must have been. Astrology is nothing but studying the planetary system, because somewhere we found this connection of our life to them. People wonder how the planets are going to affect our life, and a lot of other counter arguments are there about astrology. But we should not forget that this science is existed forever. It has worked with millions of people. People have resolved their issues in practical life with the help of astrology. It helps us to understand somebody's personality through their Rashi and the way they behave,
The horoscope.
the horoscope. Yes. It helps to find a good life partner, because in earlier times they never used to meet and decide. It was always family which was deciding about the marriage, and the major deciding factor apart from family background, the community and all, was the horoscope matching. In the horoscope, what do they match? They match compatibility, they match emotional and physical compatibility, they match whether they will have good children or not through their numbers. So these were some of the things, were not like 100% solution, but they were quite a leading light to help us out to decide better in our life. Then you asked for numerology.
Yes.
Yes, there is a science about the numbers. The number is in the time, the date, the place maybe. So that way the combination of few numbers which are related to our life, it gives you some idea of what is good for us and what is not good for us. So that is called numerology.
Then what is the connection between science and spirituality?
In modern science, they just don't have any space for spirituality, because as you know, in the Western world, spirituality is completely against science. The church or the belief system or the religious centers are completely against science. Whereas in India, the whole religious system was based on science. We don't have any such ritual or custom which is not scientific, first of all. And then there is nothing in our life, on our daily life, which we practice without having any scientific reason. First of all is food. As I told you earlier, that food is something what can make wonder to our health,
Yes.
our spiritual health, and our mental health. The second factor is the place where we live in and kind of people we are associated with.
Okay.
So that has a lot of impact on us, and that is how the science of astrology, of understanding the personality of people, came into existence. That okay, what kind of people are good for me and what kind of people are not good for me, because it was indirectly helping us in our spiritual path. Another example I can give you is all our rishis were scientists,
Okay.
because they not only developed the mantras or wrote down the Vedas, they also propagated the theories, something like Vedic mathematics, which they developed. Through Vedic mathematics, we have given zero to the world. The difference between the modern mathematics and the Vedic mathematics is Vedic mathematics is very practical. You will be surprised if you learn Vedic mathematics, you can do 3-digit multiplication of two numbers without help of calculator,
Okay.
with the help of only your fingers. You can also do multiplication of 100 numbers to 100 numbers.
Okay.
You can do division, you can do addition. However, whatever you want to do, you can do it with Vedic mathematics. It also gives you the idea about other statistics of life. Whereas if you see the modern mathematics, which has the theory of geometry or theory, another whatever theories are there, they are mere theories that you study, and then there is no practical applicability of that theory in your regular life. So maths and science, what you study just remains in the book, and when it comes to practical aspect of it, there is nothing much you can actually use in your regular daily life.
Then what is Vedic management system? What's a Vedic management system?
This is also a new term which is coined by modern authors. Management system means in current scenario what we can see how the businesses are managed, the house is managed, the country is managed, and what all things are required, the principles, the rules and the regulations, how to take care of the employees. So when we add little bit of spirituality or the knowledge of scriptures to our management, it makes a huge difference in their performances. For example, many management schools have started teaching Bhagavad Gita, because Bhagavad Gita is the best management book. How to manage your personal life, your personal emotions, your personal habits, your connection with the society, your connection with your family. Once these things are managed, you are automatically managing yourself and taking your intellect to the next level.
We've talked of maths and science. What about biology and physics in the Vedic scriptures?
See, the major difference between modern physics and biology and chemistry compared to the older one is the modern ones only gives theory. For example, it gives you so many technical names of tulsi and you know what is the structure of tulsi, color of tulsi, all that.
Okay.
But it doesn't give you the benefit of the tulsi, because they don't want to identify the way we understood the plant. We know which plant, which herbs or the spice can actually do wonders to our health, right? Our kitchen is the best pharmacy, and I've always said that if we follow the principles of food described in Ayurveda, we are not supposed to get sick at all. Then hospitals would be needed only for the accidents, not for the diseases. But this is what they are not coming out of it, because then the pharma companies will go bankrupt. So in biology, You know so many plants and their colors and everything, but their practical applicability is nothing. In Vedic science, in chemistry, we invented material through chemical combination which can give shine just like gold. So even today, this method is being used in imitation jewelry. This method was invented 1000 years back by one of the scientific guru who wanted to study and understand if he can convert any metal into gold. And then this method is so popular that and so unique to India that it from India it went to other countries. So you can imagine the major difference between modern science and Vedic science is that the practical applicability is not there. We believe in the usage of the plant, usage of the earth particles, usage of all the chemical combination. We have practically used them. We have made medicine out of them, and that is what Ayurveda and other science is all about.
So, from Vedic science, how well was Vedic science conversant with, let's say, the human anatomy?
Shrushruth is considered to be the father of surgery.
Oh,
He used to have a sort of a hospital where he would do perform surgeries on somebody's broken leg, broken knees, broken hands. Even it is known that there used to be operations of hernia or appendix done that time,
okay.
which is people think is the gift of modern science. And many archaeological sites have been discovered with this kind of tools which were used in the hospital.
Okay.
So those who think that surgery is the gift of British, it is not. In one of their own British writer who was a traveler to India, he had written this, that one of the soldiers, British soldier, had cut off his nose. So he was running from one place to another place. He found out from somebody that there is somebody who can stitch his nose. And there was one chamar. Chamar means the one who works with the shoes and the leather.
Okay.
That guy actually performed a small surgery on his nose, and he joined it. He gave some herbs to him, and then he made him rest for 2-3 days, and then he left. And then his nose was fixed to the same place where it was. That same British guy went to England and he presented this theory that this is how it can be done. They did the research of the whole procedure, and that is how they introduced surgery in their system. But of course, they don't want to recognize it because that they don't want to give credit to India for anything. So they said it is our innovation, but it is not. Surgery was done even thousands years back, and even till 200 years back, till British spoiled the whole system of Vedic knowledge.
Let's go to farming and let's talk about what is traditional farming, and now it's a popular term, organic farming.
The organic farming which we currently understand was always part of the system all throughout all these years. We never used to use any fertilizers or any artificial chemicals to kill the germs or kill the insects in the farm. Our biggest strength of manure was cow dung, and then we used to have other herbs which were protecting our crops. So there was no presence of chemical any which ways. So you can imagine only in last 200 or 300 years we have reached to the point that our immunity has gone down so badly, we are not able to live longer and healthier. If you see the time of Shivaji, that time they were able to lift the weapons worth weighing 100 or 200 kilo, and so easily, and every soldier was able to do it. Because when you see their armors kept in the museum, you wonder how could they manage to lift so much weight while fighting, which is not possible in today's time, even if a well trained commando is trying to do
Yes,
that.
yes.
Why? So the only difference and the biggest difference which we found, or many scientists understood, is the difference in quality of food. Because we have added so much chemical to the food in today's time, our immunity, our strength, everything is going down. Our ability to understand scriptures, knowledge, to grasp knowledge, those things are going down. And that is the reason food and farming of organic type or the traditional type is very important.
Then let's go to ancient architect. What is that and how advanced is it?
Vastu Shastra was and is the most advanced logical way of putting things in a house. Vastu Shastra is the most logical way of constructing your house and putting things in your house, in your farms, in your office premises. So originally the concept of Vastu was based on nature. The sun has been rising from the same place for millions of years, is setting in the same place for millions of years. Our seasons, the basic seasons of every location hasn't changed much. If the rain is coming in June in India, it is coming in June in across the country for many thousand years. So those logic was developed based on nature. Because of the sun, lot of insect or the negative energy could not survive. So those places of east side were considered auspicious. So that is the reason we believe that we should have an east-west house, facing east-west side. Then the position of the god, almost all the temples across, they were facing one particular direction. So it was advisable to have God in that direction in the house. Then fire has a position of northeast side as per Vastu Shastra. So it is believed that you must have your gas stove in that place. Similarly, if you see the architect of the temples, they were designed with some logic. They were designed with some marvel, some mysterious ways of having a pillar which is not touching the floor. We have various temples which are built thousands of years back and they are still intact. Is because of their architectural knowledge. And there are temples which are just facing the sun in such a way that the sun rays is going through that. So these are a few examples of Vastu Shastra. In today's time, because we already have our houses constructed earlier, we are not constructing on our own. We are not living in individual house. We are staying in apartment. So because of those reasons, it's very difficult to follow the Vastu logic. But those who are able to make the changes according to Vastu, they have this possibility of making their life better.
Then coming to India's contribution to the world in terms of science, astronomy, spices, medicine, yoga, you name it, education. What is the contribution?
So much. I can start with the games.
Okay.
The game of chess,
Yes.
snake and ladder. That's a gift of India to the world. My favorite games. As I told you, zero is given by Aryabhat to the world.
Yes.
That was India's innovation. The logic of pi was India's innovation, and then it traveled across the globe, and then it became the theory of pi. Then we have given Ayurveda.
Yes.
We have the science of understanding the plant and their relativity to our diseases and our immune system. And we understood that we understood the quantity in which it has to be taken and how it has to be used, right? So that is something which we have to. Then of course yoga. We have given yoga to the world. I will not dwell much into it because everybody knows history, geography of yoga. But yes, the original scripture was Patanjali, where all the Yoga Sutras were written, positions were written, and their benefits were described. Then when it comes to, as I said, metallurgy, It was our innovation of polishing a material into gold and having and giving that shine of gold. Many Western magicians will accept that whole concept of magic originated in India.
Okay.
So those people who practice various methods of disappearing a train or creating a different kind of illusion is the gift of India. Then you know that we knew the concept of Viman. So before Wright brothers invented a plane or developed a plane, 8 years before that, there was somebody in Maharashtra who had flown a plane using the Vedas, using all the natural ingredients, and successfully he had launched the plane back to the earth. So you can imagine how much knowledge depth we had. Germans who looted all our scriptures during British time, I think they took 70 ships of scriptures from India and they burned on the street of Germany. They used it as wood fire, and that knowledge they tried to destroy it. But many of the libraries they still preserve those things, and that is how they developed nuclear bombs, which eventually from the world wars it went to America. So you can imagine the weaponry science.
That was available in India.
Yes, that was there in India.
So from science and medicine, let's go to fashion. The Indian fabric, especially cotton, is so popular. What has been the history?
Cotton and silk has been there in India for centuries. We had this plant of cotton even at the time of Roman Empire, because they used to buy cotton from us that time, and in return they used to send jewelry
Okay.
and the stones
Yes.
of whatever they had, and it was very popular in Roman empire that they are losing out a lot of wealth because of their interest and liking of cotton.
Yes.
And that is how India was known to the world for the spices, for the cotton, and of course for the jewelry. So if you see the fashion industry, as in from the ancient time till now, India is the only country which has jewelry for every part of the body. Our clothes were like jewelry. In earlier times, we were not wearing so much clothes. We were wearing more of jewelry. That is first sign of how much knowledge which we had. Though gold was never found in India, but gold was imported from other countries even 2000, 3000, 4000 years back, because we have such jewelry and the coins
Yes.
which were made out of gold and silver.
You've mentioned the spices, and Africa really knows Indian spices. Tell me more about the history.
I think India is the origin country of spices, because even the Arabian countries used to trade with India for spices. Africa also used to trade with India for spices. The whole knowledge of spices which is found in Africa has come from India. Especially the southern part, Kerala and other states, they used to grow spices in a very large scale. Our business through sea was huge.
Science, maths, fashion, you name it. You found it right here on this episode. This is Hindu Sanskriti with Vaishali Shah. I'm your host, Harleen Jabal.